I have wanted to make this video for a while. Before I start making this video, I want to point out that I laugh when I feel nervous. It's like an anxiety response, so if I laugh while I'm doing this video, it's not because I'm making light of the situation, because I'm definitely not. It's because I'm feeling insanely anxious and I don't know how to deal with it. So, I actually don't know how to start this video. I have come to the point of where I've had to admit to myself that I have an addiction, that I am addicted to food, which is an incredibly hard addiction to have because obviously you need it to survive. This isn't a recent thing, however, it's recently got so much worse. I've basically binge ate since quite a young age. I think it's more a case of never fully feeling full, if that makes sense. The time I will feel full is when I'm about to be sick. So obviously that's really not good. But it's been the same since I was a kid. It was obviously nowhere near as bad when I lived with my parents, because obviously it wasn't me buying the food. However, there was a point in my childhood where, and it sounds daft, however, it sticks in my mind. I won't say who said it, but I was in a place and I'd asked for something. I'd asked for a snack, and then I asked for another snack a bit later, and then I asked for another snack a bit later. I think they were just chocolate bars each time, and the person in question turned around and said, "Right, no, because you're eating too much. You've had something to eat every hour on the hour for the last 3 hours. It's ridiculous. Stop." That stuck with me as I've got older. I did start eating more in my teens, because obviously I had a bit more money to myself, so most of it went on food. For context, I was a reasonably chunky child, thinned out due to puberty. When I then had my own money and I could buy what I wanted, I was not eating the right things, and ultimately I was binge eating. Binging has been a major part of my life since early childhood, but more so since late teens. I had my eldest when I was 21, so lived just me and them. I've lived with partners, I've lived with people, and I noticed the fluctuation of, as much as I binge ate, no matter my emotions, the sadder and more anxious I got, the more I was consuming, because food never let me down and food felt nice and everything else. So food was always there for me. And that sounds heartbreaking, but it was. I have the very distinct memory of a relationship with a previous partner, and I'd gone shopping the day before and I'd picked up 2 packs, reasonably large packs of custard creams, and there was me, there was him, there was 2 kids in the house. And I think the day after, he comes in and goes, where are all the custard creams? The kids had eaten a fair few, don't get me wrong, but I am well aware of the fact of I basically ate a full pack of custard creams between the time of going shopping yesterday and that day. And he was quite angry about the situation, and I obviously did not want to tell the truth in that situation, because then it would admit that I had a problem. So I basically just went out and bought another pack and went, oh, we could have just misplaced them. But yes, it's been on and off over the years. I've had periods of where I've been better with my eating and everything else, and it's been okay. I've had periods of where I haven't been. And we've had quite a rough, quite rough couple of years in terms of my family dynamic and everything else. And I've just noticed that I'm eating more and more and more and more. To the point of where over the last couple of days I don't think I've actually ever stopped. I've gained a considerable amount of weight recently doing this, which sucks. I'm having major body dysmorphia issues due to it. The main concern at this moment is I'm having reasonably severe acid reflux multiple times a day now, whereas before I'd get it once in a blue moon. So I now know it is really negatively affecting my health, and obviously I've got two reasonably young children who are seeing what I'm doing and to an extent picking up on my bad habits, and obviously I do not want them going down this journey. I am reasonably strict on, it sounds bad because it sounds like I am basically repeating my childhood from the parent perspective of, I'm about to say I'm quite strict on what they're allowed to eat and when, and it's not a case of that. It's a case of, as long as you've eaten breakfast, lunch and dinner, that you can have what snacks you want. I don't really care, as long as you are eating your main meals and you are eating your fruits and your vegetables and your proteins, then fine, as long as you're getting the stuff you actually need. But in my brain I sound like people that were telling me this stuff as a child that then made it worse, and it's a horrible feeling. And it feels, I have recently been, I do apologise, I know I'm rambling. I've recently been a part of SAIDA. For those of you who don't know what SAIDA is, that is South Yorkshire Eating Disorders Association, which really was beneficial. I loved my counsellor dearly, she was amazing. But what became clear was the underlying issue wasn't with me, wasn't food itself, it was a stress response. And as my counsellor said, I need to work through the trauma and the issues that are causing me this anxiety and causing me the stress that are then making me eat the way I am. Because I'm going to be honest, I technically have two addictions. One is food, one is my phone. I can't deal with them both at the same time because obviously that they are my two main addictions. They are my two addictions. There's no two main addictions. They are my two addictions, but they are both also my coping mechanisms. And as she said, trying to take away food when I'm stressed, when things aren't going well, when I'm questioning life choices, and when there's no, especially when there's no job security due to what's currently happening, I'm going to turn to food because I'm stressed and I'm scared and I don't know what to do. But it's knowing you have an addiction, knowing the addiction is bad, knowing you need to stop it, but literally not having the willpower to do it. And the thing that really annoys me is I am completely and totally teetotal. I am teetotal because my birth parents were both alcoholics. I made the conscious choice at a reasonably young age. I believe I made the decision when I was 20 not to drink. I think the last alcoholic drink I had was at the age of 24, and I think I hadn't drank in that 4 years, and I think I only had one or two at night maximum. So I didn't drink or do drugs because obviously being the byproducts of two alcoholics makes you, two addicts, makes you more liable to be an addict. So I literally did not drink or smoke or do drugs because I believed that obviously I was going to get addicted to something, and it turns out, where to go, I've become addicted to something anyway. And oh Jesus, sorry God, it's a lot. And it's annoying, the fact of the matter being that I've made sure I've not drank and done these things to make sure that my kids are protected, and my kids are still seeing me do things that are harmful to me. It sucks. It really sucks. So, plan of action going forward from tomorrow is looking for support groups. I need them. I can't do this on my own. I need it. I cannot refer back into SAIDA for another 4 or 5 months, for 3-4 months, I believe. After you've come out of SAIDA, you need to wait 6 months before you can refer back in, which, fine. But it's not like the rest of my life is going to get any easier anytime soon. So the concern is, if I take away the food, even though it's really not doing me any favours right now, I'm at risk of turning to something else, which obviously I don't want to do. So I want to make sure that I have the support I need and that I'm doing things right and healthily, and I'm not going to risk screwing myself up even more, or especially my kids. So we'll see what happens going